don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
That's how you know somebody doesn't respect you. They listen to reply, not to be understood. They cut you off. They minimize what actually matters to you. They laugh at your boundaries, and then they call you sensitive when you try to hold the line. They show up late, they cancel last minute, forget the things you've told them, because in their world, your time, your energy, even your voice aren't a priority. They're just an option. You see, there are two kinds of people. Those who adjust when they realize they've actually hurt you, and those who expect you to adjust so they don't have to change. You don't need to be disrespected loudly to be disrespected deeply. Sometimes you'll see it. It's just in their tone, in their patterns, in the silence after you're known. Respect isn't what they say when they're watching. It's how they act when they think you'll tolerate it.
The flow insane, take my spot, so the range. Shoot my shot with perfect aim. 3rd degree, that perfect flame. Ain't no sleep, that's the game. Oh, so southern, that's the slang. When they see me, that's the main. Chasing checks and fly like planes. Big old stick, I bought a cane. Flick my wrist and bought the ring. I'm so boss, we're not the same. Paid the cost and kept the change. Now I'm walking Hall of Fame. And I reside in the cloud. Grand wishes with these bitches. Taking pictures with the crowd, and I'm out.
Yo, 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 yo. Sound check, sound check, sound check. Happy Friday. Peace and blessings to the people. Glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. I hope all is well. I hope you're staying warm. Well, my bad. Wrong word. Wrong phrase. I hope you're staying cool. I hope you're staying hydrated. You're drinking plenty of water because it's 90, 91. It's dipping off, but it's been pretty hot this week. So shout out to my poets, writers, content creators. Of course, I got to give y'all flowers. Do me a solid like, share, repost, let the people know we're on. Was this self-defense? Oh, we got to talk. We got to talk. Sydney, I see you in the building. Let me bring you up on the big screen. I got a clip. It doesn't do enough justice, but it's one of many clips that's going around in circulation. Let's see. Good evening, good afternoon, whichever one comes first. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing pretty good. Just, hanging out. It's been hot here, but at least we have a solid air conditioner here. My husband does not like the heat whatsoever, so it's always deceptively cool in our house. He has a fan going, blowing out our window pretty much 24/7, so I'll always be like, oh, it's nice and cool today, and then I'll walk out in normal clothes and be like, oh, okay, I'm going to suffocate, time to go change. So I hope other people are having that experience and not having to deal with this heat. It's not too bad out here, but yeah, I've been reading about what's happening on the East Coast and other places in the world, and man, yeah, I'm also not very much a fan of heat, so I'm glad I'm not in it lately. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. Don't mind me snacking through the podcast. I just got Japanese snacks from a friend, so I'm taste testing.
Okay. I ain't mad at it. Look, man, I got a clip I want to play for y'all. I know plenty of y'all didn't heard about this, and if you haven't, then how can I say this? A man lost his life over a dispute because of a parking spot. Now, the question is, Was this self-defense? Was she justified? We got to uncover this. I'm going to play this clip. I'm going to bring it up on the big screen for y'all. This is, and let me just say real quick too, this is one clip of hundreds of them, because everybody is seeing different versions of the story. So take that for what it's worth. I don't want to sound like I'm picking a side in the duration of this stream. I just want y'all to understand this is just one of a few clips that's out, but
walk away, the woman says in this very short cell phone video that ends with what sounds like a single gunshot. But
Damn.
we're now seeing what happened in the minutes prior in this Walmart parking lot at 7900 West McNabb Road. Take a look at this dash cam video. That's the woman with the gun on the left, getting out of her car, holding a phone in her left hand.
Folks, she got out the car,
Witness tells 7 News that moments
provoking the situation. She could have easily left and went on about her business.
In fact, the witness says the man parked his white SUV like this, blocking the space, but minutes later he moved. She then pulls into the space, and according to the witness, she spoke briefly.
She is outside the car provoking the situation. My opinion.
Parking lot. Then you see him, 62-year-old Bart DeGuglielmo, walking up to her. She points the gun, and for at least 30 seconds, they exchange words. At one point, he follows her as she walks around another car, still pointing the gun. He appears to walk away, but immediately comes back and she fires.
This is not self-defense, man.
She's still on the phone. He remains conscious.
She may not be in jail, but let's remember, Carmelo Anthony was out on bond for 3 years and went back and got sentenced to 35 years. Let's keep that in mind, y'all. My opinion, this ain't self-defense.
all right. Like I said, there's multiple versions, different people commenting on it. I didn't want to do a short clip, so I felt like it needed a little more of an in-depth breakdown. Aside from this story, I don't know if you've seen any other footage on this, but based off of your knowledge of it so far, what's your initial take?
First of all, be prepared to be interrupted. My kids just started yelling my name from downstairs, so fingers crossed. I don't believe that was self-defense. She literally hunted that person down after he bothered her. It reminds me of a story that happened, I think it was around a year ago, where a woman chased another woman to a Walmart. I think it was a Walmart. I don't know why this is always Florida Walmarts. But she tracked a woman to her car because she was mad that she took too long in line, I think. It was something at the other store, and she literally followed her from one store to another just to shoot her over something. And no, it was because she didn't say thank you. When she came through the door, she held the door open, and then she didn't say thank you. So the woman who held the door open tracked her to another store and shot her. It makes me think of that story because it's just another example of somebody having no emotional self-control and feeling entitled to take somebody's life because they were inconvenienced in some way, and in the most minor of ways. Not that there's any reason to take somebody's life at all, but over something so stupidly tiny is just it's really an indication of the mental state of a lot of people in the country, where they have no emotional regulation skills these days. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she has a history. if she perhaps had been taking substances. Um, but yeah, I think it's ridiculous that people are getting to the point where we're shooting each other over parking spots, over doors being held open, over like you're standing on my porch and I'm going to harass you type behavior. Like, and then they try to claim self-defense. No, we saw you track her to her car, or track him to his car after that incident, and there's no reason. Like, he wasn't coming after her at all. He probably had no idea what was about to happen. No, not self-defense at all.
Two things that I noticed people have a very short temper for: being in traffic and parking spaces. Folks don't play about that. Like during the wintertime, people will literally take chairs, cones, and they will stake claim to public property like it's theirs, because they feel like, well, if I dug and got this snow out of here, then I'm entitled to this spot. You cut somebody off in the middle of traffic, or you moving too slow, and they hit that horn, they liable to follow you and kill you. We've talked about that. We've talked about the story that you just brought up too. I noticed, and I think what the argument here for a lot of people is that he's a man, she's a woman, so him confronting her in any type of way with any type of physical force justifies her shooting him, right? Oh, it's a big scary man. He shouldn't have got out of his vehicle. He shouldn't have confronted her at all about any of what he was doing or what she was doing. He walks away, comes back. But what I'm seeing in the clip is her continuously making it worse. My thing is, I've been in this position before. You want that spot, you're this close to getting it, and someone snatches it right from you. It's irritating. Some people will literally wait in that parking space because they don't want you to have it. And once you give up, then they'll back out and leave. Some people will literally see that you're about to get that spot and then they'll pull into it on purpose. This is crazy to me, man. It's like, how emotionally irregular are you to get mad over something so stupid and frivolous? It's just a spot. You can find another one. All right. Let's say, for example, for argument's sake, the person they were being rude, or they didn't show no type of etiquette whatsoever. They just said, screw you, I'm taking this spot, and what? Does that mean you in turn respond the same way that they responded to you? Does that make it better? Does it make it go away? I don't know. I just think stuff like this be super petty and super childish. He had no reason to keep on arguing with her. I'm not arguing with you over no stupid stuff like this. Scream, yell all you want. You mad? Okay. Big deal. All right. Find another spot. But like to keep going back and forth with a person over something like that, it's like you're asking for trouble. I'm gonna stop right there because like it really rubs me the wrong way. Not one because somebody lost their life and they didn't have to, and on top of that, people are just driving by and they're just watching. Nobody even tried to help the man at all. But just the fact that y'all are grown adults and like the things that you're willing to go to jail over it's effing stupid. You ain't jumping in the bullet to save your husband, your wife, your children. No, you're going to jail or you're risking your freedom over a parking spot. That don't sound ridiculous to nobody else.
I wonder how much of this is, or I wonder if it has any relation to the temperature, because there is a there is research that shows people become more aggressive and angry during heat waves. During heat waves, because of increased aggression, there's a spike in emergency room visits for suicides, aggression, and violence. So I wonder if that could have been a factor. Not saying that's a reason, and that you should allow yourself to just be aggressive. Oh, it's hot today, so it's my excuse to be angry. But during I think it seemed like it happened during the morning hours because it was published at noon, and then it was and usually there's like a lag time. So I'm assuming it happened in the morning ish, and it says the temperatures peaked near Fort Lauderdale between 90 and 91 degrees in the afternoon, with humidity pushing the heat index over 100 degrees. And if you don't know what the heat index is, it's basically when you have added humidity to the air, it makes it feel like it's hotter than it actually is. So to a human body, it would feel like it was over 100 degrees. And 105 is enough to cause mental confusion and like issues with thinking, clouded judgment, stuff like that, which is what contributes to that aggression. So I wonder if there is some sort of connection to that where she was even more unusually irate to as a result of the weather to make this decision. I mean, granted, she probably also has something going on because most normal people don't usually just use like they don't have a hot day and go crazy. But yeah, I definitely wonder how much that's a factor, and that's something to think about as we go through this heat wave and we're going to continue to see this. Like, we're only at the beginning of July, so these July, August, even into all the way into October, we could see some pretty intense heat, especially with this El Nino coming or developing. And so that's something to keep in mind. Like, people could be more aggressive. You might see more car accidents. And also, if you know that you're affected emotionally by heat, maybe stay indoors or go during times where it's cooler. Because I never understand this level of violence because I just like it's not me. I'm not a violent person. I get embarrassed if I'm even seen angry about something. So I I think it takes a certain personality type or mental illness or whatever to make somebody make these types of decisions, but you never know. Like, the environment is also a powerful factor, so it could have pushed her over the edge. Somebody who was already kind of unstable. Like, I don't think it was the same type of setup as that other story where the guy like walked onto a train and just shot the girl that was sitting there. I think he had like actual mental health issues. Granted, I don't know enough about her yet to say whether or not a mental illness contributed to that, but generally, emotionally stable people don't choose to kill people over parking spaces. So there had to be something going on. But yeah, I just thought it would be interesting to kind of bring in that factor, because it is very much a thing. Like, heat definitely encourages people to act more irrationally because we're uncomfortable, and a lot of people cannot handle heat whatsoever. And towards the higher temperatures, it can actually affect our ability to think properly, and make us more likely to make rash decisions. So who knows?
I'm not putting that on no heat. Hell no. You got a gun. You're licensed to carry. So, like, I don't know the type of test you got to go through to pass those, but you're not retarded. You got to have known that it takes a level of responsibility to carry a firearm. Unfortunately, a lot of hotheads out here got them, and they got them just because they want to use them. You're not buying them just simply for protection because you're in fear of being mauled and attacked. You want somebody to challenge you. You want somebody to push your buttons. And I'm not saying that is everybody, but there are people with very short tempers that should not own a weapon whatsoever. Not like that. Because y'all don't understand that there's things that you can just walk away from, and it doesn't require you to use excessive force over words. Y'all be crying over people yelling at you and screaming at you or calling you out your name. You know it ain't your name. Was it on your birth certificate? I think not. So why is it? Oh, it's your honor. It's your pride that's getting in the way. It's a parking spot. It reminds me of Big Bang Theory. Sheldon Cooper. That brother was obsessed with his parking spot. He was very petty with the parking spot. He would do things to you to get back at you for taking his parking spot. It's never that deep. Step on a person's shoe, it's not that deep. You don't hold a door open for me, it's not that deep. I'm still tripping off of that. Nobody is entitled to say thank you for holding the door for you. If they do, that's a plus. But you know, this is 2026. Manners have dwindled drastically around here. Everybody is not going to be friendly and polite. It would be awesome if everybody would and move like adults. I would like to believe most of us are over the age of 25 years old. That doesn't really negate the intellectual prowess of a person who still acts like a toddler, though. Heat irritates the hell out of me. I don't like it. Heat, to me, is synonymous with waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work. I hate those hours. I can't stand them. I be groggy and everything. How you want me to operate at my best at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning? but you got to do it if you want to make sure them bills are paid. My point is, the weather does not change how I talk to people or how I treat you. My personal problems have nothing to do with you, nor does yours. If you're having a bad day, I got nothing to do with it. I'm not allowing you to take your frustrations, and you'll be so mad at me. You would. Because I'll walk away from it while you talking, while you screaming, while you blah, 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 while you getting all turned up. And I will walk away from it. I won't even engage in it, especially over traffic stuff. And I done got the finger flipped at me a few times on the road. People who really follow the person. I'm not on it. This didn't have to come to that either. So I do think that there are people who just are real moody with the weather. I can see that happening because folks don't like a lot of people don't like the rain. I love it. It's peaceful. It's quiet. It's calm. Some folks think that it's a mood breaker. I invite it. Welcome it. I don't know if the heat thing is an excuse for her though. And I don't know. Matter of fact, what would you say to somebody that blames him for being aggressive towards a woman, and that's why he got what he got and he deserved it?
Well, first, I just want to clarify. I definitely don't think that it was like she had some emotional instability. Because if you have, for you, since you gave yourself as an example, you have emotional intelligence. You understand that it is completely irrational for you to take away somebody's life just because you're upset they did something in traffic. Like, you have the willingness to walk away, disengage, and ignore a confrontation. She very clearly does not have that. It takes a different sort of emotional instability. It takes emotional instability to actually like follow somebody and plan out an attack on somebody just because they did something that inconvenienced you. So there's most definitely either something going wrong or she has zero emotional control whatsoever. But yeah, I do know that heat does affect things. But yeah, I definitely would never take somebody's like assertion, oh, it was because it was hot outside, so I should be excused from this crime. Like, no. You still committed a crime. It's just maybe heat made you a little bit more irrational. But yeah, she definitely had some other issues. And also with the question you asked, again, never, like, even if he was harassing back, unless she was on her own property and he was invading her property, she has no right to do that, obviously. He was not confronting her, and you can see by the video that he was not engaging with her like that, to a point that she could say that she was in a reasonable amount of danger. Like, he wasn't aggressing her, he didn't step out with a weapon, he wasn't trying to like break into her car or like get to her. So I know people will do it where they'll try and say like, oh, well, he was being aggressive towards me, I felt like my life was in danger. But in the eyes of the law and realistically, someone yelling at you is not a reasonable amount of danger. You have to actually have evidence that this person is in the process of posing a risk to your life. So even if he was like arguing back to her, that still was not considered a physical attack or anything like that. People can say what they want. It's just some people aren't very good at choosing the volume that they convey this. But They're allowed to. If you're on public property, you can get removed for it because obviously then you're becoming a public nuisance. But you have every right to express yourself in public as long as you're not posing a risk to other people. So she would have zero leeway with that argument if she tried to say like, "Oh yeah, he was aggressing on me with his voice." It's still not a reason to shoot somebody. You have to be in a verifiable amount of danger and in fear of your life for you to be able to use a deadly force weapon as an excuse to protect yourself and to consider that this was self-defense. But yeah, I know people will still try and use it, trying to say, "Oh, I was in fear for my life, like he was being so loud and blah blah blah. I thought it was going to escalate." But in the eyes of the law, you're supposed to actually be facing some sort of imminent bodily risk, or it doesn't count. Mute.
Why did she get back out the car? Whatever was said between y'all was over with. You got back out the car, then you approached the other vehicle, continued to do this. And like, I'm black, so I can say it. We got a habit of matter of fact, they ain't even got nothing to do with being black. This is, and don't get offended if it don't apply to you. But I noticed with a lot of women, not all of them, but there's a lot of y'all who love to get the last word. And you enjoy arguing for no reason. You had no reason to get out your car after all that was done. You didn't like the fact that the man blocked the spot. You didn't like that he took the spot. You didn't like that. How dare this man do this to me? And whatever he said to you, you didn't like that either. And instead of saying, you know what, this ain't really worth it, go on about your way, you continue on with the back and forth. Somebody got to be mature here. But no, we got to have a testosterone measuring contest. We got to prove who's more masculine and who's more dominant in the situation. This was a lose-lose on both sides. He shouldn't have been arguing with her. He shouldn't have been petty. And you shouldn't have responded the way you did to the pettiness. Period. Because I see that he blocked the spot. I'm sure that there were some words. But this is where critical thinking comes. It's easy to do it when we calm and we chilling and it's just like this reasonably tempered dialogue going back and forth with a person where there's no heated exchange. Everybody is good under them conditions. What about when there are examples where your temperament is going to get questioned? You're going to get challenged on your emotional regularity. That's when I need to see you show up. Let's see the adults show up then. It's cool when everybody agree with you and let you walk over them or whatever the case is. How about when someone does something that you don't like? And then you have to decide within that gray area how you're going to respond. That's where I be wanting to see how people really are. Because this proved to me right here that neither one of them, they didn't have the right mindset. This scenario could have gone a completely different way. I always think there's always an alternate for everything. It just depends on how far you're thinking ahead. See, when I look at scenarios like this, I think, oh, they're only concerned about you just disrespected me by taking the spot. And you did it on purpose. So you want my attention. You're not thinking about nothing else but that. You got to know how to chill, reassess the situation, and figure out, is this going to be a liability or an opportunity? And then you failed. The people failed for letting that man struggle there. I don't know if he could have been saved, but clearly somebody could have at least paid notice to it. But it should have never even happened in the first place. Sad thing is, this happens every day, nonstop. People are getting cut off all the time, and they don't respond like this. I done seen this way too often. Been in that situation way too often. People are rude. People are inconsiderate. You can't avoid it. You can't escape it. You cannot control or dictate how a person treats you. You can only respond how you would respond. And you have to show up and be an example. You got to be the bigger person. You got to elevate above the ignorance. Everybody can't be stupid. Everybody can't follow folly, man. It's just not going to work.
Bang, 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 bang.
I don't know why people don't understand that concept. Now, you might be free for now. You might mess around and go to jail. It might happen. Because they're going to have to go back over that footage and those witness statements and all that. This ain't over yet. Period. I don't know. I'm not convinced of self-defense. I didn't see nothing that showed self-defense. We got to be unbiased here. What you saw was a white man that's bigger than her and structurally and biologically outweighing her in her presence. And to us, that automatically signals danger or threat. It didn't help that he was white. And you're a black woman, and black women, we swear up and down, you're never protected, you're always in danger, yada yada yada. But y'all be instigating too. You be starting shit too. Don't act like y'all innocent. She could have kept her happy ass in the car and kept it moving, even if she felt like he was wrong. Because at that point, she was in the car. She could have called 911 if it was that serious. Did you see him lay a hand on her? I didn't. I did see her get back out the vehicle and then go back for round two. But he should have left her alone. He could have just kept it moving too. And I think if you're going to make an argument for self-defense, you're probably going to say, well, he should have kept it moving himself. He could have just walked away. He didn't have to entertain her. But you chose not to. You chose to keep. I'm not doing that because I already know it's your word against mine. They're going to believe you over me. I'm going to look like the impending doom in this situation because I'm the guy. Always. They're never going to look at you like you're the threat. And I'm not saying or suggesting that you don't carry. Women are supposed to protect themselves. Dudes are weirdos. There are a lot of dudes out here that's on that type of time. This could have been handled different, though, on both sides. How you?
Yeah, I was watching the video again, and it does look like he approaches her, because it shows him coming in from one side, walking past her, and they're just about a parking space apart lengthwise. And he starts to walk towards her while they're interacting, and then that's when she shoots him. But he's still like a good, I'm bad at judging distance, but maybe 3 to 4 feet apart. And it didn't look like he was coming at, like he was walking slowly towards her, engaged in this argument. So he definitely did move towards her, which I could see why she might get scared by that. But yeah, I still think that the fact that she instigated this whole thing to begin with, it was her fault. She used unnecessary force to assault somebody for no reason. Like if it had been him the whole time, like he followed her and he was mad about the parking space and he was approaching her, I could understand her use of weapon way more than her being the aggressor and allowing it to get to the point where they were face to face and she chose to use this weapon on him. And just because it was brought up, I was curious and I looked up the reasons for ineligibility for firearms, because it doesn't look like you have to take any sort of mental competency thing, at least just from what they're defining on the official government website for eligibility requirements. You just have to be 21 or older, or if you've served in the military, you just have to be 18 or older. And then you also have to reside in the U.S. and have various forms of documentation. And then ineligibility usually comes down to convictions. If you have a felony conviction, if you have a misdemeanor crime of violence within a certain time frame, if you have a conviction for controlled substances, drug or alcohol abuse, DUI convictions, or have ever been committed to a mental institution, or have been judged as incompetent or mentally defective, or domestic violence. So if she had any of these previous issues, she could potentially be disqualified from being able to have a gun, but because she has a gun, if she's doing so legally, it's likely that she doesn't actually have a history with violence, which is one of the things I was curious about. But yeah, in terms of getting a gun, it's not that hard in Florida, at least. It doesn't look like you have to, you don't have to really take a test or anything to show that you're mentally stable enough to have a weapon. But in regards to the whole engagement, yeah, I still, even watching the video again, seeing him approach her, I still don't think her self-defense position stands, because she was the initial aggressor. She was the one that got out of her car and made it a big deal. My husband and I have a car seat. Okay, thank you. We have a parking spot in front of our house that, you know, our neighbors sometimes park in, even though there's parking in the middle of the street and on the street. You know, that the one in front of our house is technically our parking spot, even though it's technically not, because, you know, it still belongs to the neighborhood. But when people park in our parking space, obviously we're always like, oh, why can't you park somewhere else? Why can't you put, like, we'd rather park in front of our house. But we're also not going to go and confront our neighbor about it and be like, excuse me, why are you putting your car in our parking space? This is ours, and cause a big stink about it. Because first of all, why do we want to piss off our neighbors? And second of all, like, it's just a parking space. It doesn't technically belong to us. It's still public property. It's still like if we wanted to do anything to the parking space, we'd have to ask the city and the housing people that own the area. So it's not yours just because you're mad that somebody's taking your parking spot. It's that entitlement, like, this is mine because I feel like it's mine. And then you feel like you have the right to react any to defend your access to the thing that's technically not yours. So yeah, they're really, I don't know what it is with people in cars, but people are so angry when it comes to driving and parking spots and their cars. Like, if you ding the door and all this stuff, I'm like, what is it? Like, some people are less possessive over their house than their cars. It's like people treat their cars like their children sometimes, and sometimes treat their cars better than their children. So
Stop it. Get some help.
I mean, it's like, I don't understand the behavior. Granted, I think about my actions. I'm not going out there aggressing people over things, but I don't understand how you can escalate with a stranger, because it's not like you know the person. It's not like you're emotionally involved in the situation. You're really going to take away your freedom, like you said at the beginning, to get mad over a spot. Something super temporary. It's not like this is a place you're going to live in and they stole the house that you were going to, like, live in or something like that. Like, you literally park in a spot, you go into the store, and then you leave. If you can't find one, find another parking spot. And in Walmart parking spots, I guarantee you there are parking spots. Like, they have way more parking than necessary. At every Walmart I've ever been to, all of the back rows are always empty. Like, sure, it's a bit annoying when you're like, oh, I have to park back in the parking lot and walk up, but there's parking. It's not like it's some venue or whatever where everyone's fighting for their last remaining 5 spots, and then somebody just, like, zips in front of you and takes it and stuff like that. There's plenty of spots available, and people are going in and out. So if you really, really had to, you could wait for somebody to leave in those front spots. So yeah, this is entirely on her and her decision to aggress this person. She made a very, very rash and stupid decision. And the guy, in my opinion, he probably shouldn't have approached her. He probably should have done what most of us would do and just leave the situation and not engage with her, especially when she pulled the gun out. I'd have been like, all right, all right, I'm gonna go back to my car. We're done. Be mad, whatever. I'm leaving. But yeah, I feel like that was his only fault in the situation, was approaching her. He really should have left, but that is that doesn't take away from the tragedy of him being murdered. Yeah, it's just another example of, like, when you see craziness in public, just don't engage. Just leave. You don't know what type of crazy people are, and if people are being crazy in public, they're obviously type of crazy that they have no shame about it. It takes a certain type of anger and certain type of person to be willing to show that type of anger in public. Most people are too shy and have shame about being emotionally expressive in public. Most people tend to be private and don't really want to involve other people in their problems. But when you have the type that are willing to throw a fit, have a scene, be outwardly crazy in public, there's something off. There has to be something off, because most normal people don't subject themselves to that type of humiliation. So yeah, just I would definitely not be engaging in that.
Yeah, stop letting y'all pride and y'all ego take y'all freedom away from you. You don't know this, but you're actually a slave to your feelings. Like, when you don't know how to control yourself, you're basically being in service to your own fleshly desires and wants and needs. When you can't say, nope, I'm not doing this, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make me no money. Just ain't profitable. Not in the ways that I need it to be. I need to make it home to my family and my friends and loved ones. This ain't really worth it. You might think it is. You spend 20, 30 years in jail over a piece of property that don't belong to you, with yellow lines painted on the ground that someone's going to be occupying while you're in prison. I would feel pretty stupid. It's not worth it. Never is. He should have left it alone. I sure as hell would have after the gun was pulled on me. But you shouldn't have even entertained or approached. But see, that you're antagonizing people when you're intentionally going out of your way to trigger or provoke them. Why would you even? No, I don't know. When you use discernment, people are childish. Not everyone. A lot of people are childish, especially when it comes to stuff like trafficking, parking. They want to be close to their house. They don't want to have to walk all the way up the street to get to their property when they get off work. When they go to the store, they want to park as close to the store as possible so they don't have to walk far. But y'all don't own none of this stuff. So be happy you can park wherever you can park. Go get what you got to go get and go home. Plain and simple. The extra stuff is unnecessary. I laugh, not because it's funny. I laugh because it's sad. Because these will be the same adults that's out here doing things in the world to keep the electricity on, keep the water running. But you don't know how to control yourself at all when you're out in the public or in a store or in a restaurant. I don't know.
I was reading the comments on one of the videos, and first of all, the top 2 comments are, I learned 23 years ago, someone pulls a gun, you walk away. And then someone else said, someone has a gun on me, says walk away, I turn tail. But one person in the comments, I thought this was interesting. In the audio, when he's approaching her, she's telling him to walk away. She's telling him to get back. And apparently when she pulled into the spot, I don't know if this is true or not, because obviously I'm taking this from the comments of YouTube, so it's not an official statement. But apparently the woman in the car next to her, that when she finally pulled in, said that he was waiting for her, and he purposely blocked her in and started confronting her. If that was truly the case, I would stray more towards self-defense, because if he was pursuing her after that incident, like if she got mad at him and then she left, but then he pursued her, that would be different, because it's the pursuit that makes it more of a crime. And so if she pursued him, I would say she's at fault. If he pursued her, I would say he was to blame. Obviously he still didn't deserve to die, but it almost seems like if you factor in the audio and that's accurate, it might have actually been self-defense. If he was coming after her and trying to instigate, it would have been his fault. And also something that I thought of after reading these comments, she did aim for his leg. She didn't aim for his chest. She didn't aim for his head. She aimed for his leg. And that's customarily what they advise you to do if you're being pursued, is shoot somebody in the lower extremities, because it'll still incapacitate them, but it's not going to be automatically fatal, because obviously chest shot, head shot, those are pretty unsurvivable in most cases. So if all of that is true, there could actually be the potential that she was protecting herself. Again, I think it wholly is dependent on who was pursuing who approached who, and was realistically, he should have walked away. He as soon as that gun came out, he should have left. It's not that he didn't show any indications of himself trying to leave, and with his hand motions, he definitely didn't look like he was trying to calm her down. It looked more like he was kind of engaging with her. But yeah, I would find that interesting if we got a hold of the audio to hear what they were saying to each other. Because if she was truly saying please leave me alone, please go away, and he was still pursuing her, that would actually switch the burden over to him, because he was not following her instructions. He was coming into her personal space, and he wasn't heeding the fact that she had a weapon up at him. So that would be an interesting twist to see if there is additional information about their verbal interaction.
That's why I said at the beginning of the stream, there's too many different clips out there, too many versions of the story, and I hate that, because what you're left with is the public's interpretation of what the reality actually is. And I never want to seem like I'm being biased or I'm picking sides, when really I just want justice for whoever deserves to have justice. In this case, at the end of the day, my point still stands. The level of maturity here was piss poor. He could have. There's no excuse on his behavior. I know I spent a large amount of time on her, but in reality, he should know better. point blank period. He is supposed to be the logical one. We talk about men being logical. Well, you are supposed to be the logical one. There's no way that you approach her, you argue with her, and go. Men aren't supposed to. You have discussions and debates with your partners, with personnel, things of that nature. But arguing with women, no, you don't do that. You don't create an environment or a scenario where another person is going to feel fear of their life or for it. You have to do everything in your power to make people feel safe in your space or in their own. Anything outside of that, you leave up for interpretation of the other person. So if I don't make you feel like you are protected and you decide that you want to protect yourself how you see fit because of what I am imposing, you have every right to proceed how you should. Now, if you fired off at the legs, and I was thinking about that before you said, if you fired off at the legs, that's exactly what you should do. You don't no fatal shots. Immobilize them. But hearing, and I try my best to stay out the comments sometimes, because if I start reading them, everybody's gonna have different stories and different versions. Oh, I'm a friend of the friend of the friend that was really. So all of y'all were friends with them, and y'all just happened to be in the comment section to clear the air, right? I don't know. Bottom line is, why are you fighting over a parking spot? Why are you getting triggered over a parking spot? Or because someone slowed down at the yellow light, then sped up, made the yellow light, it turned red on you. So you pissed off at them for making you miss the yellow light. It just be ridiculous. Hopefully the evidence and the surveillance and the audio and the testimony will give us accurate and sufficient proof of her claim and everything else in between. Right now, I'm still on the fence with that. Just because if she's guilty of gunning him down, let her do her time. If she was really protecting herself, hey, it is what it is. Stop being petty. Stop antagonizing people. Why are you trying to intimidate a woman? Why are you getting bucked with her? Yeah, you was definitely asking for it. And for the record, ladies, I know dudes are aggressive. I know there are a lot of dudes out here that do move like that. So you have every right to protect yourself. We can't afford to play around with our safety these days. I don't want to see nobody get hurt. But if we got to protect ourselves, it got to be legit, like legit reasons. It can't be all over no stupid stuff. And if it's true that the man was waiting on her, like, bruh, you definitely was asking for problems. So I'd be damned. If you wait, nope. My thoughts and prayers go out to the family. I pray that this case is handled properly. And I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about it.
It's not yours.
If you want to add anything to this, I mean, you got it, but
I just couple things. One, as I said in the comments, like he was also a veteran, so you'd think that he'd have the competency around guns to kind of reconsider the situation he was in to avoid violence to himself. Like that is one of the things that they work with you a lot in the military is making sure you understand how to use weapons, but also how to properly uh, handle yourself around the weapons as well. So I would have expected that he'd have more forethought when involved in a situation like that. And then additionally, it also, if it's the other way around where she's actually defending herself, it also kind of reminds me of a case I saw recently. It was caught on camera. The guy was aggressing another guy on his property, and he kept like aggressing him, and he basically got shot in front of his wife on the porch because he just kept trying to attack the guy at his house, even though the guy was holding up the gun saying, just leave, like get off my property, please, just go. And he continued to aggress him with a gun pointed at him and then ended up getting killed. And it's like, what'd you expect? What'd you expect was going to happen? Somebody's telling you to go away with a gun to your face, and you're still going to come after him and try and attack him. You're not going to win. I promise. Like, gun against a human is not going. That's not going to go well. So yeah, I hope that. I mean, I don't know what I hope, but I just would like this to go in a way where it's fair for the parties involved, because regardless of the situation, like I would need the audio to be able to say one side or the other. It's very unfortunate that somebody's life had to be taken. And I'll end with my mom's favorite piece of advice. For those of you, if I've never mentioned her before, my mom's a 6th degree black belt in karate. She's been doing it for like 40 years. She taught on the women's international kumite team, and she also was so good that she was put in the men's lightweight divisions because she was better than all of the other women at her caliber. But her favorite quote to me was always, the best self-defense is to not involve yourself in the situation in the first place. So if you're word of advice to people, if you see a gun to your face during an argument, walk away. Save your life, walk away. It's not worth your life to engage, especially over a stupid parking spot.
Will said. He must have thought because he served that he could do some magic, and yeah, he thought he was on that type of time, and she was a quick draw. Allegedly, of course. Shout outs to you, shout outs to everybody who pulled up tonight to join the conversation. Y'all let me know in the comments, man, what y'all think about this situation. Self-defense. Did he have it coming? Did you see something differently within this story? Let me know. We about to get up out of here though. I hope y'all enjoy y'all 4th of July. I know that's right around the corner. Don't die out here in this sun, because this weather is not a joke, and it's supposed to be bad tomorrow too. So stay hydrated, get under a tent, make sure them coolers are iced up, and eat. Yeah. But just in case I don't chop it up with y'all tomorrow evening, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Until then, do me a solid before you go, if you don't mind.
What's the goddamn button?
Peace.
Bye, guys.